Namaskar, Salam Alaikum, Welcome and Sat Sri Akal.
You are listening to the Sunday Breath that inspires creatives to pursue their passion and not be discouraged in these tough times.
Today we have with us a very special guest. She is the CEO of Confluencer, which is an India's leading influencer marketing agency. She is also a co-founder of Walnut Folks, which is a digital marketing agency. And Confluencer has worked with companies like Flipkart, Grow, Upstocks, Royal Enfield, PUBG, and many more, and has have driven over 800 million views through the content they create for brands.
A perfect example of an independent, strong woman, we have Saiba Dhandania with us on this fresh Sunday morning.
Hi. Firstly, happy to be on this session and a really good initiative from you guys to cover such stories.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So, ma'am, we'll start with the questions. You are the CEO at Confluencer, global influencer marketing agency. You have also driven over 800 million views to the content you create for brands. So, would you like to share with us something about Confluencer and about influencer marketing?
So a quick bit about Confluencer. We are, like you mentioned in the introduction, generously, we are one of the leading influencer marketing agencies that exist in India. And the team has been really fortunately growing both in terms of brands, in terms of people, in terms of, in fact, influencers as well. And we've been able to, yes, work on very, very good, impactful campaigns with sizably big brands. What that has given us is a lot of experience and expertise to understand influencer marketing and to execute, real conversions. Influencer marketing relatively is a new form in the digital world, where initially, say for example, 5-7 years back, whenever you decided that I want to purchase an insurance, you would go and ask a cousin of yours, or you would ask someone from your school senior, somebody like that, right? Now that same trust has been replaced into content creators, where people are now looking at their advice when they want to buy things, when they want to drive important decisions of their life. So that is influencer marketing, right? Like you're bestowing the same amount of trust in these content creators, and through their content they entertain you, they educate you, and they are able to share information with you which helps you.
Okay, that's a great initiative, ma'am. Because social media is what I can say. Nobody can stay apart from social media nowadays. So I mean, it's a very good platform. It's a very good initiative, ma'am. So the next question we have, ma'am, is you have also started an independent, dedicated, and passionate digital agency named Walnut Folks Private Limited. So would you please share with us the story and thoughts behind starting this venture?
So actually, Walnut Folks is the parent company to Confluencer. Walnut Folks is the one that I was able to start a few years back, and then Confluencer was born out of it. So Walnut Folks was started from the sheer perspective that there are very few agencies and very few marketers who are very analytical and data driven. I come from a finance background, have studied economics, so for me, data makes a lot of difference when I am making decisions regarding a brand's marketing. And with that thought, we did start Walnut Folks. The story is very simple. The walnut looks like a brain, right? And like every brain has a right side and a left side. Most agencies are creative agencies where they do not have an analytical end to the decisions or the solutions that they're providing to the brands, or the kind of suggestions that they are making to the brand. And we wanted to be a balance. I wanted to strike a balance between data and creativity. I wanted to strike a balance between sheer logic and art coming together when we wanted to do marketing for brands. And that is how Walnut Folks was born. A few years into Walnut Folks, happened, and then Confluencer was born because a lot of our brands started using influencer marketing as a solution, and then we sort of created Confluencer and pivoted it separately. So now they are two separate entities as a brand, but the parent group of course remains to be Walnut Folks.
Okay.
Ma'am, coming to the third question. You were awarded Economic Times Best On-Campus Startup and Best Large-Scale Influencer Marketing Agency Award given by Entrepreneur Media Group at the Influencer Summit Awards 2021. which is like a dream of every aspiring entrepreneur. How is that feeling? Would you like to share with us something about that?
So it goes without saying, right? Like every entrepreneur works towards these milestones, and being awarded or being recognized by your industry veterans, or by industry guilds such as Entrepreneur Media. It's one of those dreams that you do have, and it just makes you feel good. It makes that appreciation, gives you that encouragement, and helps you build more confidence that you are on the right track. So it definitely feels good every time we've been awarded, or every time we've received any form of recognition, big or small. As per being a best influencer marketing agency, I would say that I do not really know what the term best would mean. Every agency does few good campaigns, few okay campaigns. We also have all of that. I think our methodology does separate us from a lot of people, but I would say that best is a very evolving thing for us to have received, but we're very, very thankful, and we hope that we can continue to win such accolades year on year.
Definitely, ma'am. We definitely would.
So, ma'am, we have a very short game with us. There will be 5 questions I'll be asking you, and you can define it in a short sentence or something. Okay. So the first question is, what's your definition of an influencer?
Anybody who can drive you to make a decision, who can change your opinion, is an influencer. It could be your sibling, your friend, it could be a digital content creator, it could be a celebrity. I mean, for me, the simple definition would be that when I saw Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, I got the haircut within 2 days. So Kajol had a lot of influence on me, and I think on a lot of girls at that age to get that haircut. So that's the definition of an influencer. Anybody who can influence you to have an opinion or to make a decision of any kind.
Okay. And what are the key metrics that you look at when searching for influencers?
So primarily we look at 2 things. One is content quality and the other is engagement rate. The content needs to be a right fit for the brand. It's not about high quality or low quality of content. It just needs to be the right fit for the brand. And the other is engagement rate. Whatever content that is being created by the influencer, it needs to be connecting with their audience, and they need to be engaging with that.
Okay. And which is your favorite influencer marketing campaign that you have worked on, and why?
So Upstocks happens to be one of the biggest success stories that Confluencer has, and it will always be very special because I think it was one of the first few campaigns that we did of that kind of size. We worked with them for a very, very long period of time. We still have a beautiful relationship. We were able to create a lot of impact where, at that point of time when we started, Upstocks used to be in the top 20 discount brokers, and then through the influencer marketing and through other initiatives that were taken, we saw them rise into the top 5. So it felt quite good, and I think that happens to be very, very special.
Right. What is your view on micro influencers compared to celebrity influencers?
So I feel that both have a very different purpose. Both have a different outcome that they create, and it depends on the brand, what size they are at, and what kind of brand it is, to be able to use micro influencers or celebrities. Micro influencers are able to move nano decisions, like a micro influencer who's talking about, say, maybe a health condition like a diabetes or a PCOS, say, for example, right? The person might have just 5k following or 10k following, but he or she will be able to give you a lot of specific niche information and will be able to influence your decision, right? Versus a celebrity has a mass appeal. So they don't talk anything which is niche. They can talk about fashion trends, or they could talk about, say, maybe, fitness at large, maybe, but not anything which is very niche, right? So it depends on what kind of a brand you are, and either of those solutions would work fine for you, depending on what you're trying to sell and what you're trying to achieve.
And what does the future of influencer marketing look like in your eyes?
So it definitely looks very promising. We've only seen increase in spends across sectors, and this is like global data. The reason, one of the logical reasons why it looks promising to me is very simple, that we are more and more reducing our attention span as human beings, right? Which means that we will more and more want snackable, digestible content. We will want content on the fly, right? And to be able to produce that kind of mass amount of content that gets consumed today, it cannot be just organizations. You will need independent creators to be able to fulfill the amount of demand that exists for the content, right? So just probably in a minute, how many videos do you end up watching, how many reels do you end up watching? Just think about that, right? So if it was only dependent on brands or organizations to create content, they would never be able to meet the kind of demand that exists. So I believe that creators are here to stay, influencers are here to stay, and so influencer marketing is definitely here to stay.
I feel that a lot of people, after listening to this episode of ours, would be motivated to pursue their career in influencer marketing. You've told a lot of interesting things about it.
Thank you, and I really do hope so, because if anyone is looking out there to be a digital marketer, then building your specialty in influencer marketing would be great.
Definitely, ma'am. So, ma'am, our last question would be: how do you measure the results and ROI of your influencer marketing work?
So typically, like any other digital campaign, when you're running a campaign on Facebook or Google, at the end of the day, your sales or whatever you were trying to drive, whether it was signups or whatever was your end goal, that needs to be measured. So I do not believe in the fact that you just measure views, or you just measure that, okay, website pay, you got visits, right?
Yes,
we don't stop at that. We actually, like, if you're working with an e-commerce brand, we actually go out there and measure whether it was able to drive sales, whether it was able to drive conversions, real conversions. But yes, a lot of times when that is not possible, and when it's a smaller campaign, or when the brand is just started influencer marketing, then a good way to measure is cost per view. So how much did you spend to sort of drive a view or an impression is a very, very good metric for new brands, for new startups when they are looking to get into influencer marketing.
And
Thank you so much, ma'am,
for agreeing on doing this, ma'am. We started with Sunday Breath to give motivation and hope to the people out there who are feeling negative around these days because of the current situation we have. But listening to you will bring a difference. So I hope on that.
Thank you so much, guys, for inviting me. It's a brilliant initiative, and yes, we do need a lot of positive content right now. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys grow.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And guys, आपको ये वीडियो कैसी लगी? इसका जो बेस्ट पार्ट है, प्लीज कमेंट सेक्शन में हमें बताइए, और जो चीज़ खराब लगी वो भी हमें बताइए, so that we can improve on it. And if you like the video, so press on the like button, subscribe to our channel if you are not a subscriber yet, or share this with your friends and family, and see you in the next video. Thank you so much.